Hi, I'm Art Napolitano, and I'm really excited today to have a very special guest. One of our Zinzino partners on our team is Dr. Michael Garko. He's someone I've spent some time with on the phone. We've got to know each other, and I'm so happy he's given us some time to be interviewed by me today. And I think you're all going to just be excited by what you're going to learn. His resume is so extensive. Bear with me, I'm going to have to read through this, but he is a nationally recognized credentialed nutritionist. He's an award-winning researcher and educator. He is among the most respected health talk show hosts and producers. Considered for over 15 years, he hosted and produced the popular health talk show, Let's Talk Nutrition. This show was nationally syndicated, coast to coast in the United States. It was live 2 hours a day in over 500 cities and streamed globally. He also appears regularly as a featured guest on radio and television across the country, and he shares with his audiences scientific, proven ways in which diet and nutrition are the driving forces to create, sustain, and reclaim health and wellness, as well as well-being. Now, he has his own practice, Nutrition Logic and Wellness, and this provides state-of-the-art, evidence-based nutrition care and counseling for his clients. Now, I've got to know Dr. Michael Garko, and I know he's a passionate guy. He believes that every day of health is a day of wealth. So I know he is giving his time to be with us freely, and he joined the Zinzino team for the mission of what we're doing here. And so to start out, I know you're down in Florida. Today I'm coming to you from New Hampshire, and I got my second home in Spain, and I'm so grateful that you're taking time to be here. I also would like our audience, before we get into your background and we talk about maybe the Zinzino business and supplements and health, tell me a little bit about yourself, Michael, and how did you end up becoming this incredible doctor and nutritionist? And I also know you have a very successful daughter.
I do. Artie, thank you so much. You're so gracious. You're so kind and generous, and thank you for those kind words. On April 22nd, in terms of Zinzino, on April 22nd, I joined Zinzino of this year. And on that day, I turned 80 years old. I'm 80. I was born in 1944, April 22nd, 1944. I'm the product of an immigrant family. My mom and dad were immigrants. My mother was from Italy. My father was from Poland. And I was raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in a blue-collar, highly ethnic neighborhood. We were poor, but I wouldn't have known that. My mom and dad were just wonderful people. I was so fortunate and so lucky. And I had a wonderful sister who was challenged shortly after she was born. She developed pneumonia, then double pneumonia, and it caused severe brain damage. And I watched my mother, in particular, give her a normal life. It was just remarkable. And I was taught by the nuns and the priests, primarily the nuns, and they were the best teachers of my life. Those women were so devoted to us. And believe you me, beyond high school, I've spent 18 years getting my credentials, my academic credentials. And so I know, and I taught in the academy as a professor. So I know a little bit about education, thanks to my mom. In terms of my career, my students would often ask me, Artie, they would come into my office, Dr. Garko, you've done so many things. How did you plan that all out? I didn't. I was a young boy, and here I am in Catholic school, and right next door was a junior military school that the nuns that were teaching us ran that. And they had a drum and bugle corps over there, and I could hear the drums. And I asked my first music teacher, Sister Carmelita, to teach me music, whatever it was, drums, whatever it was. And it was drums and trombone. And she was my first teacher. And one of the lessons I learned from her was, if you don't practice, you lose interest. Well, that's not only, I found out as I grew up that that applies to everything in life. It's your relationships, whatever your business, whatever you're doing, and in particular, your health. If you don't practice trying to achieve better health, wellness, and well being, you will lose interest. And when you lose interest, you get yourself into a jam. And so I've made my way this far. And when you get this deep into the lifespan, there's many lessons that you learn along the way from your formal education, as well as the experiences in life. And in my clinical practice, I learn a lot. I learn probably more from my clients than they learn from me. And I'm always paying attention, observing, listening. And I think to really be successful in when you're trying to help others is to remain open-minded. You keep an open mind, an open heart, and an open soul, and that opens you up to them, and they open up to you. And that's what's important. Whether you're doing a Zinzino business or whether you're doing whatever, I don't care what it is, driving a cab to doing brain surgery. And I live my life, you alluded to it, I do live it in a better service of others. Because when I was 72, I was diagnosed with cancer, came out of the blue. I had no clue. I was healthy, I was fine, but I got infected with the virus. And then in the process of trying to treat that, they found a lesion on my lung and I had lung cancer. And I was stage 4 in my neck and I was stage 1 in my lung. And I'm a guy, I've led a good life, Artie. I'm not perfect, but in terms of my health, I never abused drugs. I never abused alcohol. I did the right things. Even when you do the right things, bad things can happen. So just imagine when you're doing unhealthy things and violating your biology, violating your body and committing nutritional violations and lifestyle violations, you put yourself at great risk. And it's something I wanted to share with the audience. Be mindful. Nature's agenda is not for us to live a long, long time. The average life expectancy in the year 1900 was about 47 years old. Well, what happened between 1900 and now? It wasn't because there was some evolutionary shift and all of a sudden we naturally selected to somehow live longer. No, man. What happened was better sanitation methods, better medical care, better social environments. We're living longer because of medical science and all the things that contribute to longevity. The medical science, better sanitation, better food, but we're not healthier. People are living longer in a state of ill health. And that is really the problem. You want to live, you want to get people, I hear people say, oh, I want to live to be 100. I want to live to be 80. Well, you got to get there, you have to do certain things. But keep in mind, nature's agenda is for the species, not only ours, but all species, to propagate early and often, raise your offspring, and die. Because the planet can't sustain every species of animal and plant living forever. It would run out of, it just can't do it. So we're living longer because of these things that I alluded to and mentioned. And in my opinion, you said it too, diet and nutrition are the driving force. I am absolutely convinced they are the driving force to create, sustain, and restore your health, wellness, and well-being. There's not one scintilla of doubt about that in my mind, Artie.
Well, Dr. Garko, I know you counsel a lot of patients in as a nutritionist. And we've talked about this on a personal level because I have a similar background to you, both upbringing, both heritages, a little more Irish mixed with the Italian than you're Polish, but even similar health things that I've been through. So yeah, health is really important to me. But we've talked on a personal level. And when you look at the world today and you see so many people are challenged with obesity and the health risks that come with that. And then, diabetes has got to be almost epidemic. And even Zinzino offers an HB1AC test to help let you know, which I found out I had a moderate chance of type 2 diabetes, which I know, so many people have. In fact, many people that have gotten the Zinzino test found out they were diabetic, didn't even know it. So what the question I guess I have is, what's happening to all of us? And is it our relationship with food? And how do we address this? Because, everybody says eat less, eat right, do the right things. How do you take a patient and coach somebody who's facing these risks?
Yeah, the notion of relationship with food, it's a central element of my nutrition practice at Nutrologic Health and Wellness. And my clients are sort of surprised by that. And they say, Dr. Garko, what do you mean? And I say, well, listen, when your mom was pregnant with you, what your mom was eating and drinking, the way she was living, but primarily her diet, was epigenetically determining what was going to happen to you nutritionally. So now we have, in the modern times, women gaining a lot of weight during pregnancy, becoming overweight and even obese. What happens is that the infant, once it's born, now has a greater likelihood to become obese. Her obesity and overweightness doesn't cause a change in the sequencing of the genes. It causes a change in the expression of genes. This is the science of epigenetics. So what has happened? Think about our ancient ancestors. They were under a lot of stress, right? I'm talking about, Paleolithic period going all the way back, millions of years, under a lot of stress, scarcity. There wasn't a lot of food. They had to hunt and gather, right? The stress was off the chain, man. Every day they had to get up. There was no laying around. You had to be on the move, hunting and gathering. Stress, scarcity, lack of food. All right. That's what determined what we became biologically, physiologically, in every way. So we have an ancient biology in a modern time where we have lots of stress, abundance, right? Convenience. It's a disaster. Our body, our biology wasn't designed to be in this sort of context. And so the relationship with food has become, in a real sense, corrupted by all of these ultra-processed foods that are high in salt, sugar, and fat, right? Those are the three major ingredients that food companies use to make these ultra-processed foods appealing and appetizing. And people become addicted to these foods. Food addiction is a real thing. There's much science to support it. So now we have an obesity epidemic across the world. In the United States, 3/4 of the population is overweight or obese. A third are obese. We have an obesity epidemic among children. We now have children, because of that obesity epidemic, that is showing the beginnings of cardiovascular disease at an early age. We have kids on blood pressure medications, cholesterol medications. Their arteries, when you scan them, you can start to see fatty streaks, which is the beginning of plaquing in the arteries. These are children who are going to grow or growing up with the potential for adult diseases at an early age. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart disease, and whatnot should not happen until midlife. These are kids. And so what we're having here is this very pathogenic, obesogenic relationship with food. That relationship is one of the most important relationships in any person's life. Most people got up today, tens of millions of hundreds of millions of people, and that idea will never cross their mind today or any other day. So my job in being better service for others is to talk about that relationship with you and this audience today.
Well, Dr. Garko, that's eye-opening and sad at the same time. Obviously, we talk in Zinzino about how food has changed, and we center on the test-based nutrition program, and we test for the HB1AC And we have a saying in Zinzino, we inspire change. Just like hopefully people hearing this message today, hearing, you teach us and talk to us, that will inspire people to take the right steps to change. When I got my result from a HB1AC, I read everything, all the advice that was on the website that came with the report, and it's motivating me to make those changes, especially as I'm getting older every day. We all are. And I want to make those changes. I don't want to be type 2 diabetic or worse. And this is avoidable. When we look at Zinzino as a whole, we give people something called a vitamin D test. And I was told, especially as you get older, or you live in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, you're away from the sun, you really need to pay attention to this. And that's important. And we have a product that can help with that. But then the core of everything, as you know, is the balance test and something called Balance Oil Plus. And yes, I've asked you offline, I said, if you're coaching people on health and wellness, and we're talking supplementation, I'll make it a multi-part question. For those that don't understand this industry, it's a $167 billion market as of 2023, but it's projected to go to $239 billion by 2028. So people are waking up to the need for supplementation. 1 billion people take supplements. Half of those people take omega-3. My question is, should everybody be taking supplements as well? The balance oil.
I will say something that I've said this publicly on TV, radio, and the speeches. Dietary supplementation is overrated. What? What? Wait a minute. Cut. What did he just say? Dietary supplementation is overrated. What do I mean? It becomes overrated when you expect them to raise Lazarus from the dead, and they won't do that. They're not intended to do that. They are intended to supplement your diet. The food is the key, right? Supplements are food in a different form. I use supplements to keep the nutritional status of my clients optimal. I also use dietary supplements to help with certain conditions of the body. I was being interviewed, I don't know if it was on CBS or some TV station somewhere across I forget where it was, not long ago. The interviewer was pretty smart. He asked me 2 good questions. The one question he asked me was, Dr. Garko, what's the biggest mistake people make when it comes to their health? And I thought for a minute, I said, damn, nobody's ever asked me that. And I said, you know what? They think everybody else is going to get sick. And he said, well, why is that a mistake? I said, because when you start to think that way, you start to take your health and wellness for granted. You start to procrastinate. You procrastinate yourself into ill health. So no, I was healthy. I led a good life, a healthy life. I still go to the gym. I train 6 days a week, 2 hours, 6 days a week. And trust me, it is a rigorous training period. I have young guys working out with me, and they can keep up. Some of them, the other day, one had to stop. So, and I'm 80. So I've lived my whole life this way, and I still got sick. So don't take your health for granted. You can get sick. The other good question he asked me was, we were talking about supplements, and I said to him, supplements are overrated, and I explained why I thought that. And he said, well, if you had to just take one supplement, you were forced to do that, what would it be? I said, without question, didn't hesitate. I said, fish oil. I said, because from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, fish oil and the compounds that constitute it really are a driving force for health, wellness, and well-being. They are implicated in cardiovascular health. Fish oil is implicated in cardiovascular health, for example, right? We know that, and it's implicated in brain and health and cognitive function. Fish oil is implicated in joint and bone health. Fish oil is implicated in eye health, skin health, pregnancy and early development, metabolic health, and I can go on. And I'm taking the Zinzino product. I'm doing right now, given my age, given my health status, my lifestyle, my rigorous workout routine, I'm doing anywhere between 3 to 5 grams a day. And I take my vitamin. You should take all your fat-soluble vitamins with your fish oil. Vitamins A, D, E, and K should be taken with fat. And so I use fish oil when I'm taking my vitamin D. So when I'm taking Zinzino, the balance oil, I'm taking the Zeno Shine right along with it. So that's my take on fish oil generally, and my take on supplements. I've been taking supplements my whole life. People are out there right now taking a fish oil product that's doing more damage than good. Why? Because they're taking a fish oil product that is not protected with antioxidants. And I won't mention any brands. And on my radio show, I had every major fish oil company sponsor my show over 15 and a half years. So I know these companies and I know what they make and how they make it. You go out and you spend $80, $70 for a bottle of fish oil, and you look on it, it's got EPA, DHA, high concentration level, pharmaceutical grade, molecularly distilled. What could be wrong with that? Well, if it doesn't have the necessary antioxidants, you're taking a risk because it can become oxidized in your body. And it's the antioxidants that really make the difference. Fish eat algae and plankton. Algae and plankton contain fluorotannins. Fluorotannins contain polyphenols. The small fish eat the marine food, the big fish eat the small fish, and then we eat the big fish. When you look at all the clinical trials and studies comparing fish oil to eating fish, most of the time eating fish outperforms the fish oil supplement. Why? Because in the fish, you have the fluorotannin, those polyphenols from the fluorotannins. The oil is better protected. It doesn't get oxidized. You can take a high grade, documented product, or an offline product where you go buy your fish oil where you buy your lawn and garden supplies. That's a mistake. It's a cheap product. You open up the bottle, it smells terrible. It's probably rancid. What makes Zinzino so special is they figured out, well, let's see, marine plants don't grow on land, they grow in the sea. What grows on land that is high in polyphenols? Let me think. Oh, yes, what my mother served us all throughout my life, olive oil. It's the olive oil. Olives are high in polyphenols. So Zinzino figured out how to combine the olive oil with the fatty acids. And they add a little vitamin E and some vitamin D. You take that product, you don't have to worry about it being oxidized. Moreover, the polyphenols are like chaperones, and they will get those fatty acids into the cell membrane. Another reason why fish oil is so important, because the fatty acids involved in making of the cell membrane, the omega-3s, are critical. They make that membrane fluid. If you get too many saturated fats in a membrane, it's the fluidity, it's more stiff and not as fluid. Things can't get in, things can't get out as easily. So the Zinzino product is revolutionary in that sense. And that's why I take it. It's in my clinical practice. Every one of my clients is on the Zinzino oil, balance oil.
That is a strong testimonial. Again, we know on the internet, on TV, infomercials, you hear all these stories. We don't know what to ignore or what to explore. So we're all looking for that credibility. And not only yourself, in your resume is amazing, Dr. Garko, but we met through Stuart Tonk, who was the national spokesperson, international ambassador, and global educator for the largest fish oil company on the planet. And he is now representing Zinzino. And I know you and Stuart Tonk are very close, and he introduced you. I know you had to understand how we do our marketing is a little different. We go direct to consumer. And I was just humbled and honored when you joined the team. And then you and I talked just recently about some of the other heavyweights that Stuart's brought on, like Dr. Maroon, who was a neurosurgeon for the Steelers. This guy has over 300 published peer-reviewed studies already. Dr. Joe Hiblin has over 200. Can you just comment a little bit about what you see coming together here?
Okay, so You know, I've worked my whole career. What my approach and my relationship with clients, whether it's in my practice or whether I'm radio, TV, I always tell the truth as I know it. I'm sincere, and I want the audience to know that I truly care about them. And that's my brand. I've worked over 50, I've been doing this business 50 years. I'm 80, as I told you. I've been doing this 50 years, man. I am not going to tarnish my brand for any amount of money, for any sort of fame. I don't need notoriety. I just want to help people. When I was introduced as Zinzino, direct to consumer, multi level marketing, it was like showing a crucifix to Dracula. I said, no, 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 no. And then I realized, I said, wait a minute. And I started to vet the company. And some of our Stuart is my best friend and colleague for 20 years. We talked every day for 20 years. He's my brother. And we vetted the company. And then we had other MLM people vet the company. And they said, wait a minute, we want to join. And next thing you know, as I told you, on April 22nd, on my 80th birthday, I joined Zinzino. I didn't blink because they were evidence-based. They are personalized nutrition. They got the testing. The products are superb. That balance oil has made such a difference even for me. And I can tell, oh, by the way, I took the test, the balance test, the omega-6 to omega-3, and my score was 2.3 to 1. And yeah, you know what I attribute that to? To the Zinzino oil, the balance oil. I had taken it for like 6 weeks, and then I took the test. I should have taken the test first, but I knew I had inflammation because my hands were stiff and I could feel it a little bit. Boy, once I started taking that oil, I said, Jesus, I feel better. And then when I got the test, I understood why. So, all of the Joseph Maroon, I know Dr. Maroon, Dr. Hiblin, I have not met, and myself, and all these other scientists and medical practitioners have joined this company. And these are all people that like myself, have worked very hard to develop a credible, believable brand. You want people to relate to you and trust you. They're not going to put their reputation and their careers, neither am I, in jeopardy. And with Zinzino, I and they are very comfortable with the company because of their science-based, personalized, nutrition test-based approach. It fits perfectly into my nutrition practice. It fits perfectly into my philosophy about nutrition and health and wellness. And I feel very fortunate to be part of the company.
Well, Dr. Garko, I remember I did take the test. I was somebody that had a heart issue, as you know, 3 years ago. My first balance test I took was after being on omega-3 for almost 2 years, taking quite a bit of it, and I was still 12 to 1. I went on the balance, so I stopped all the normal fish oil capsules, and 4 months later, I was down to 3.3 to 1. Now I've switched to the premium and increased my dosage just slightly. But Stacy, my partner, she went from 17 to 1, taking no supplements, down to 2.9 to 1. So with
Wow.
1.5 million people tested worldwide, 97% out of balance. And then after 4 months on our product, 95% are back in balance. We are making a difference in people's health. And it's the things they don't feel and see that are even more important than the things they do feel and see. So
100%.
look, we could talk for hours. You are fascinating. You're brilliant. I want to thank you for being part of Zinzino and part of my life. I can't wait for us to meet in Florida in just a few weeks. We're going to get together. If you're ever up here to see your brilliant daughter, I know is I think a virologist. Did I say that?
Yeah. My daughter,
Boston area.
Dr. Kimberly Garko. She is just a wonderful woman. I'm so proud of her. She's a virologist. She is just brilliant, and she lives up in your area. And I told her about you and that you live close to her. And I'm going to go visit her. And I said, we'll go visit Artie and his lovely wife, and we'll go and spend some time. And she said, oh yeah, it'd be a great idea, Dad. So, but I'll see you here in Florida. Thank you so much, Artie, for giving me a chance to spend time with you and all the people that will watch this video. I just want to leave with this thought. And I'll leave you with my mantra. This is my every day I get up, this is what I say. Live your life mindfully, in the moment, one day at a time, with purpose, passion, and gratitude, all in the better service of others. That is a guiding light for me, and my life is much better when I live it that way. And you might want to think about, that mantra just a little bit.
So, again, I can't thank you enough for being here and being part of the team. Again, to all of our audience, please share this video with as many people as you'd like, and know that we're all going to make a difference in the lives of others by sharing the message of the Zinzino Balance Oil and the rest of our products. So have a great day, and we'll hope to see you again on another Zoom in a room.